Hello my dear students, how are you? Students, you are most welcome in this next part of the video series. This is biological classification chapter number 2 for class 11. So students, in this video we are going to discuss about some heterotrophic bacteria. In earlier videos we have discussed about the different type of phototrophic bacteria, in which we have discussed photoautotrophic bacteria, then chemosynthetic bacteria. So students, you are looking on the screen, this is chemosynthetic bacteria. We have discussed it earlier. So now we are going to discuss about the heterotrophic bacteria. So students, be concentrated, it is important for your exam as well as for your competitive exam. So let's discuss about it. Students, heterotrophic bacteria which perform the heterotrophic nutrition means they cannot form their food by their own, or they are totally dependent for their food on other living organism. So that is why they are heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic bacteria may of different type of, just like parasitic bacteria, saprotypic bacteria and pathogen bacteria. Non-pathogen bacteria means, what does it mean? These bacteria may parasite means they can live inside the body or outside the body of living organism. Saprophyte means they can live inside or outside the body which is dead and decayed body. Pathogen bacteria, these bacteria they are parasite but they cause the harm to another organism or organism in which they live or exist. जिन बैक्टीरिया के अंदर ये रहते हैं, जिन लिविंग बीइंग के अंदर ये रहते हैं उनको हार्म कॉज करते हैं, डिजीज कॉज करते हैं, तो ऐसे बैक्टीरिया को पैथोजन बैक्टीरिया कहते हैं. नॉन पैथोजन बैक्टीरिया, दीज आर द बैक्टीरिया दे आर द सिंपल और कॉमन बैक्टीरिया, दे मे यूजफुल और नाइदर यूजफुल नॉर harmful. So students, these are the categories of heterotrophic bacteria. Let's discuss more about it. So you are looking on the screen, this is the description of heterotrophic bacteria. These are most abundant in nature. The majority are important decomposers. Many of them have a significant impact on human affairs. They are helpful in making curd. You know very well, lactobacillus is the bacteria which is used to make the curd, or without this bacteria curd is not formed. Reproduction of antibiotics, production of antibiotics. So production of antibiotics, it is very important use of bacteria. Without bacteria some antibiotics are cannot be extracted. So fixing nitrogen in legumes, root, you know, in leguminous plant there is a bacteria, rhizobium bacteria, Rhizobium leguminosarum, which fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrate and nitrite, which is very useful for the plants. So students, let's discuss some pathogen bacteria which causes the disease. So you know, they can cause the disease in human, crops, animals and pets also. Cholera is the bacteria, cholera is the disease which is caused by the bacteria Vibrio cholerae. So Vibrio cholerae is the bacteria which cause the disease cholera. Now typhoid, you know very well, Salmonella typhi, this is the bacteria which cause the typhoid. Tetanus, Mycobacterium tetani. So Mycobacterium tetani, it is the bacteria which cause the tetanus. तो आप लोग जानते ही हैं, ये बैक्टीरिया जनरली कहाँ रहता है, ये बैक्टीरिया सॉइल में रहता है. सॉइल बॉर्न डिजीज है. कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ जो सॉइल के कांटेक्ट में रहती है, अगर उससे हमें घाव होता है तो टिटनेस होने के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं. सिट्रस कैंकर, जेंथोमोनास सिट्री. सो दिस इज द बैक्टीरिया जेंथोमोनास सिट्री विच कॉज द सिट्रस कैंकर. आप लोग जानते हैं नींबू में जो ब्लैक कलर की जो डिजीज़ हो जाती है उसको हम लोग सिट्रस कैंकर कहते हैं. ये बैक्टीरिया की वजह से होता है. एंड वेल नोन डिजीज कॉज बाय डिफरेंट बैक्टीरिया. आप जानते हैं बहुत सारी और डिजीज भी हैं, जैसे आप लोग जानते हैं ई कोलाई जो डायरिया कॉज करता है, और हेलिकोबैक्टर पाइलोरी जो आपका पेप्टिक अल्सर कॉज करता है. सो दीज आर बैक्टीरिया विच आर हार्मफुल और causes disease to living organism. Bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometime under unfavorable condition दे प्रोड्यूस स्पोर्स, अनफेवरेबल कंडीशन में ये स्पोर का फॉर्मेशन करते हैं. दे ऑल्सो रिप्रोड्यूस बाय सॉर्ट ऑफ सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन बाय adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to the other. So students, this is about the heterotrophic bacteria. So let's discuss about the structure of another organism which belongs to the category Monera. This is mycoplasma. Students, very important. Many of the time it was seen in your exam. So mycoplasma, it is also prokaryotic living being other than bacteria, which belongs to the category or kingdom Monera. Mycoplasma, it is harmful to the living being because it causes the disease. So let's discuss the mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack a cell wall. That is why it is just looking like eukaryotes because it does not have cell wall. That is why it looks like eukaryote, but it is not eukaryotic living being. You know why? Because the nucleus is not found inside it. They are the smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. So these are the smallest living cell. You know, PPLO in ninth class you have read in detail. PPLO is the world's smallest cell which cannot be seen by our naked eyes. So what does it mean? PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organism. Pleuropneumonia like organism. So this is the full form of PPLO. Students, why does it called so pleuropneumonia like organism? It called so because it causes the pleuropneumonia disease. Pleuropneumonia disease, where it causes the pleuropneumonia disease. Mycoplasma, it causes the pleuropneumonia disease in which some cattle and animals, it causes the disease pleuropneumonia. That is why it is known as the pleuropneumonia like organism, just like the organism which causes the pleuropneumonia. So PPLO, and its scientific name is Mycoplasma gallisepticum. Mycoplasma gallisepticum. Mycoplasma gallisepticum, it is the scientific name of mycoplasma which causes the disease. So you know very well, this is the very important. It also causes the disease in plants. So you are looking here, this is the structure of mycoplasma, and in background you are looking as the different mycoplasma are suspended in a medium. So you are looking here, these are yellowish in color. So students, it is about the mycoplasma. Let's discuss more about the next category or next kingdom, that is the protista. So students, so let's discuss about the kingdom protista. Kingdom protista, you know, this is the second category or second kingdom of the 5 kingdom classification after Monera. After Monera, kingdom protista we will study. So students, let's discuss. All the single cell eukaryotes are placed under protista, but the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. Why? Because some scientists or some biologists seems the photosynthetic procession at plants, because both the type of unicellular eukaryotic organism are placed inside the protista, which perform the photosynthetic process and also heterotrophic nutrition they perform. That is why some biologists seems the photosynthetic protista as plants, but some other animals which perform the heterotrophic nutrition or heterotrophic characteristics, they are seemed by the biologists just like animals. So students, this is the controversy in this kingdom. So let's discuss. We will study all the kingdom protista into two parts. So we can categorize in kingdom protista in two parts. What they are: photosynthetic and heterotrophic. आप इसको ऐसे भी कैटेगराइज कर सकते हैं, ऑटोट्रॉपिक और हेटरोट्रॉपिक. सो वी विल स्टडी इन टू ग्रुप्स दिस किंगडम प्रोटिस्टा. autotrophic protista and heterotrophic protistans. So let's discuss a little bit about general about the kingdom protista. So general description: chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenids, slime molds and protozoans included under protista in NCERT. So students, I am describing it. This is the language of NCERT. So don't be confused. NCERT language, it is very important for your exam. So I will not tell you any more etc or useless things in this video. So students, we concentrated. So in this kingdom, what we are going to study? Chrysophytes. This is the category of protista. Dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, protozoans. These 5 categories we will study. So let's discuss. Member of protista are primarily aquatic. Generally ये water में मिलते हैं. So that is why these are aquatic in nature. This kingdom forms a link with the others dealing with plants, animals and fungi. So these are the connecting link between the monerans and rest other kingdoms, just like fungi, plantae and animalia. So these are the connecting link between the monera and fungi, plantae, animalia. So being eukaryotes, the protestant cell body contains a well-defined nucleus. So you know very well, that is why it is eukaryotic in nature, and other membrane-bound organelles. Some have flagella or cilia. Protists reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. So asexually, if they will reproduce generally by the binary fission or multiple fission, or sexually by fusion. So fission and fusion. So these are the two different things. Okay. So let's discuss about the different categories of kingdom protista. First category we will discuss, that is chrysophytes. So chrysophytes, what are the chrysophytes? Chrysophytes are the living being, or we can say they are the protistans in which we include diatoms and golden algae. Golden algae and diatoms, they are included in chrysophytes. So what they are, I will show you in a picture. Also you are looking here in the background picture. So these are the golden algae. They are found in fresh water as well as in marine environment and have following characteristics. What characteristics they showing? They are microscopic and float passively in water current. Passively, float passively, what does it mean? Because they don't have the flagella. They don't have the flagella. So in water current, where water current are going, so in the direction of water current, they move. Then they are known as planktons. So planktons are unicellular. You can say this is the example of protista. Which category? Chrysophytes. So most of them are photosynthetic because they have the chlorophyll. That is why first we will study about the autotrophic protistans. So autotrophic protistans, this is the autotrophic protestan, that is why they perform the photosynthetic process. In diatoms, the cell wall form two thin overlapping cells. Two thin overlapping cells, what does it mean? Means overlapping cells just like it. Cell within cell. Means just like soap inside the soap case, which fit together as in a soap box. You know, just like soap case, we put inside the soap case. Soap we put. So soap we put inside it, just like this structure it has. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. You know, these walls are embedded with silica. The outermost covering, it is embedded with silica, means silica is found just like lead, you know, just like glass. ग्लास की तरह सिलिका इसमें धसी होती है. दैट इज़ वाई दीज आर डिस्ट्रक्टिबल. ये डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं होते हैं, ये काफ़ी लंबे समय तक एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. इनकी वॉल जो है वो डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं होती है. दस द आइटम्स हैव लेफ्ट बिहाइंड लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ सेल वॉल डिपॉजिट्स इन देयर हैबिटाट. जब डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं होगी सेल वॉल तो फिर डिपॉजिट हो जाएगी इनकी डेथ के बाद. दिस एक्यूमुलेशन ओवर बिलियंस ऑफ ईयर्स is referred to as the diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth, this is very important term. It is asked in exams. So students, it is very important for your exam point of view. So let's discuss, this is very attractive and looking very colorful, and it disperses the sunlight. That is why it looks like colorful. So that is why at diatomaceous earth it is very attractive. So being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oil and syrups. Diatoms are the chief producer in the oceans. These are maximum in number. That is why chief producers in oceans are diatoms. So keep it, remember, students. It is used in polishing because gritty this soil, because it has some policy in nature, means just like you can say glittery, glitters, glitters just like glitters. So it is gritty in nature, that is why used in polishing, and just like sand, so that is why it used for the filtration of oil and syrups. So I think you are understanding well, students. These are the chrysophytes. So let's see the picture of chrysophytes, how they looks like. So students, these are the chrysophytes. You are looking in the picture, all they are golden algae. These are the structures, magnified structures of these. So students, you are looking here, and it is very attractive and clear also. So let's discuss more about the next category of the protista, that is dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates, as its name, dino, you can say dino means two, flagellates means flagella, means these are the animals, or these are the unicellular protistans in which two flagella are found. So that is why these are included in this category or named it dinoflagellates. These organisms are mostly marine and photosynthetic because they are living in which water? Sea water, marine water. That is why marine and photosynthetic, because they perform the photosynthesis process. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending on the main pigment present in their cells. So on the basis of the presence of the pigment means just like chlorophyll, pigment means chemical which have the color. So pigment, which type of pigment in this found? Green color, yellow color, blue color, yellow color. So they looks like that color. So yellow, they have the xanthophyll, green they have the chlorophyll, brown they have the fucoxanthin, blue they have the phycocyanin, and erythrocyanin in red color. So these are the different name of the pigments, but don't worry, need not to remember these pigments because these pigments are not asking in this chapter in your exam. So friends, the cell walls has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Most of them have two flagella, one lies longitudinally and the other transversely in a furrow would be in the wall plates. So students, it is very important point because the question asks like this: in which category of the protistans two flagella are found, in which one is longitudinal and one is transversely placed? So which category? Dinoflagellates. How these appears, I will show you in a picture. So don't worry, it will be clear to you. Very often red dinoflagellates, example Gonalax. So Gonalax, it is the example of dinoflagellates undergo such rapid multiplication and they make the sea appears red tides. Gonalax, it is the example of dinoflagellates. It is maximum in number, that is why tide of sea surface, it looks like the red because all the water becomes red due to the presence of these dinoflagellates. So that is why it is known as the red tides. When in sea water tides emerges, these tides becomes red due to the presence of these dinoflagellates, Gonalax. Toxins released by such large numbers may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. So toxins is released from the body of these animals. So this is very harmful to other one, just like fishes or other marine animals. So students, are you understanding it? So let's discuss about the picture, how they looks. So let's see how they looks. These are the different examples of these dinoflagellates. So you are looking here. This is Noctiluca. Noctiluca, one is longitudinal flagella and another one is transverse. So just look like this. So transverse, it become erected, but it is transverse. So Noctiluca is the example of dinoflagellates. This is Tychodiscus. Tychodiscus, it is another example. Serratium, Serratium, it is the another example, and Gonaulex. So you are looking here, Gonaulex. This becomes red in the water and forms the red tides. So are you looking here? Yes, this is transverse flagella, this is a smaller one, and longitudinal, this is longer one. So longitudinal one, longer one, and a smaller one is transversely placed. So these two plates, cell wall plates, and these two cell wall plates are here, and between these two cell wall plates, one transverse flagella is found, and in all the organisms flagella is found. That is why these are flagellates, and two flagella are found. That is why these are dinoflagellates. Okay, so let's discuss more. Students, euglenoids. What are euglenoids? It is the category in which euglena is found. On the basis of the name of euglena, this category is euglenoids. So euglenoids, you are looking here. What are the characteristics of this category? Let's discuss. Majority of them are fresh water organism found in stagnant water. Instead of a cell wall, they have a protein rich layer called pellicle. Okay, in their outermost covering is just like cell membrane, and this is known as pellicle, but it is another one from the cell membrane. Cell membrane, it is inside it. So outermost covering is pellicle, which makes their body flexible. So their body becomes flexible. They have two flagella, a short and one long. So one short flagella and one long flagella also are present here, you know, but they are not kept inside the dinoflagellates. Why? I will tell you later. So they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight. When deprived of the sunlight, they behave like the heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organism. So this is very important point, because sunlight, in the presence of sunlight, they behave like the photosynthetic organism. When sunlight has gone or sunset, sunlight does not reach to deeper layers, then they perform or they behave like the heterotrophic animals. So I think you are understanding. So that is why they are not placed in dinoflagellates, because they perform both the type of nutrition, photosynthetic or autotrophic as well as heterotrophic. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those parents in higher plants. So it is very surprising that just like plants, green plants, chlorophyll is found in euglenoids. Example, euglena. Euglena is considered as plant as well as animal. Why? Because they perform both the type of nutrition habit, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. That is why it is the connecting link between the plant and animal. So it is known as, it is also called the plant animal. Plant and animal features are, what are the plant and what are the animal features are found? Chloroplast and chlorophyll are present. It has holophytic nutrition, means you can say this is the autotrophic nutrition. Chloroplast and chlorophyll are present. It has autotrophic nutrition, not holophytic. This is autotrophic. So autotrophic nutrition it has. So correct it, not holophytic, autotrophic nutrition, because they have the chloroplast or chlorophyll. Presence of pellicle, which is not made up of cellulose. Contractile vacuole is present. Longitudinal binary fission. So binary fission, longitudinal binary fission. Cell vacuole, contractile cell vacuoles are found, and the outermost covering pellicle, but it is not made up of cellulose. That is why it performs or it shows the characteristics of animals. So these are the animal feature and plant features we have discussed. So students, these are euglenoids. I think you are understanding. Now next category, let's discuss about it. What is it? Before discussing it, see the picture of euglenoids or euglena. These are different euglenas are here. You are looking. So these are real pictures of the euglena. Okay, so let's discuss next one, single euglena. How looks it? So it looks like it. So there, this is the flagella, longer flagella, and a smaller flagella is also here. It is not looking, but it is also present. Stigma, it is the eye-like structure, or this is known as stigma. Nucleus is found. Chloroplast, you are looking here, chloroplast is also found. Outermost covering is pellicle. This one is contactile vacuole. What does it mean? Contactile vacuole, at the time of absorption of water, it maintains the concentration of water inside the euglena body. सो यूग्लिना की बॉडी के अंदर वाटर की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन और सॉल्ट की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन को मेंटेन करने के लिए एक वैक्यूल होती है, इसको कॉन्टेक्टाइल वैक्यूल कहते हैं. आई थिंक इट इज़ क्लियर. So let's go on the next category of the protista. This is slime mold. What does it mean, slime mold? Slime, students, slime means slippery or it is very slimy. Molds, it is the category of fungi. So fungi which are in unicellular and are placed inside the protista. So these are slime molds. Why does it named it? Because they have slimy structure and they have the features like protistans. So that is why they are placed in protista. So let's discuss what feature uh, keep them inside the this one. So let's discuss. Slime molds are the saprophytic protists. Saprophytic, which dependent or which take nutrition from the dead and decay body of the living organism. So that is why saprophytic or saprotrophic protist. The body of these animal moves along decaying twig and leaves, engulfing organic material under suitable conditions. So in suitable condition, they just engulf the organic material or decaying twigs of the plants present in the water. They form an aggregation called plasmodium. So these different unicellular organism makes the colony. You are looking in the background yellowish color. So all the unicellular organism, they form the colony. This colony is known as the slime molds because they have the like this different unicellular organism accumulates and the gelatinous covering cover it, and this whole structure is known as the slime mold. Students, the single unit is called plasmodium. So during unfavorable condition, the plasmodium differentiate and forms fruiting bodies bearing spore at their tips. So we have discussed it. The single plasmodium perform the spore formation in favorable condition, but when it in the form of slime molds, it perform the this nutrition, which type of this division means spore formation. This is the mode of sexual reproduction, spore formation. It is performed unfavorable condition when it is present in the form of slime mold. The spores possesses true walls. True walls, they are extremely resistant and survive for many years even under adverse conditions. The spores are dispersed by air current. So they are mostly found in water as well as in moist terrestrial habitat. So that is why their spores gets free and through the air current they spread out. So students, this is the slime mold. So let's see the picture how slime molds looks like. So you are looking here. So this is the single plasmodium. You are looking here. This is the single plasmodium, and this is the group, or this is the colony of plasmodium. You are looking here, yellowish in color. So in this form, it reproduces unfavorable condition, but in this form, it is free form or single form. That is why the spore formation occurs freely when it is in single form, and it is in group form, then spore formation occurs in unfavorable condition. So students, it is the slime molds. Let's discuss next category of the protistan, which one is protozoans. So students, these are the protozoans. So protozoans, what are the protozoans? Protozoans, it is the another category. This is the fourth category. So students, three we have discussed they were the autotrophic in nature. Which one? Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and which one? Euglenoids. So these three are autotrophic in nature, but now these two categories, which one? Now we have discussed the slime molds and protozoans. These are the heterotropic in nature. So these three are autotrophic in nature. Now these two, protozoans and slime molds, they are heterotropic in nature. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as the predator or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. Means they are mainly seems that they are relatives of advanced animal or primitive relatives of animals. There are four major groups of protozoans. Protozoans are categorized into four categories. So these categories are very easy. You can remember it: amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and sporozoic. So these are four categories. First we will discuss amoeboid protozoans. What are amoeboid protozoans? Just from name amoeboid, it is clear amoeba is present here. So these organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting outside pseudopodia. So you can say and protozoans which have the pseudopodia are kept inside the amoeboid protozoans. So amoeba and entamoeba histolytica, they are kept here amoeboid protozoans. So pseudopodia is also known as the false feet, as in amoeba. Marine forms have silica cells on their surface. Some of them, such as entamoeba, are parasites. So amoeba, it is generally found in pond water, but this is entamoeba histolytica or entamoeba gingivalis. These are mainly found in both type of water, marine water as well as fresh water. So these are the example of amoeboid protozoan. Next one is flagellated protozoan. Flagellated protozoan, it is clear by its name. Flagellated means living being or protozoans in which flagella are found. These are called flagellated protozoan. How? Let's discuss. The members of this group are either free living or parasitic. Either free living or parasitic means they may be parasitic or free living. They have flagella. The parasitic forms cause diseases such as the sleeping sickness. It is very dangerous disease, sleeping sickness. So example, trypanosoma. Trypanosoma cause this disease, sleeping sickness. So students, let's see the picture of these protozoans, these two categories, what they looks like. Amoeba. This is amoeba. You are very familiar because from lower classes you are studying. So this is amoeba you are looking here. This is amoeba. Now next one, this is flagellated category, and this one is trypanosoma. Trypanosoma. And this one is leishmania. Leishmania. So this is leishmania, this is trypanosoma. These two examples of flagellated protozoans. Leishmania causes the disease called kala jar or leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis or kala jar. Kala jar is the disease. It is caused by the leishmania. So let's discuss about the next category of protozoans. What is it? This is ciliated protozoan. These are aquatic, actively moving organisms. Because of the presence of thousands of cilia, they have a cavity gullet. You know, the surface of these organisms have different number of cilia. So just like whole surface is covered by the cilia, that is why these are known as ciliated protozoan. And the next feature, they have the cavity gullet. Here it is the cavity is called gullet. Gullet. So cavity is gullet that opens to the outside to the cell surface. It is also known as the alimentary canal of single cellular organism, because mouth is here, it engulf anything from here, and from this tube or this cavity gullet, this open outside, and all the digestive material, it is released outside after the digestion. So that is why it works as the alimentary canal. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water laden with food to the स्टेड इनटू द गुलेट। आप समझ सकते हैं यहाँ से, जैसे अगर अमीबा को हम लोग पैरामीशियम को अगर हम लोग देखें तो ये जो गुलेट है, जो कैविटी है, यहाँ पर जो पैरामीशियम के जो सीलियाँ हैं ये इस तरह की मूवमेंट कॉज करते हैं कि वाटर इसके अंदर आने लगता है, और वाटर के अंदर साथ साथ जो लिविंग छोटे छोटे और इनसे भी छोटे जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म होते हैं, प्लैंक्टॉन्स वगैरह, वो इसके अंदर आने लगते हैं। तो इस तरह से सीलिया की मूवमेंट हेल्प करती है किसमें, इनको फूड खाने में। एग्जाम्पल क्या है, पैरामीशियम। नेक्स्ट कैटेगरी स्पोरोजोन्स। स्पोरोजोन्स दे फॉर्म्स द स्पोर। तो इनके नाम अगर आपको याद रहेंगे तो आप इनको कैटेगरी के नाम भी आप अच्छे से याद रख सकते हैं। जैसे सीलिएटेड मीन्स जिनमें सीलिया प्रेजेंट है, सीलिया किस में होंगे, पैरामीशियम में। फ्लैजिलेटेड जैसे फ्लैजिला किस में प्रेजेंट था, ट्रिपेनोसोमा में, है ना। इसी तरह से यूग्लिनाइड्स में यूग्लिना आएगा। तो यहाँ आप इस तरह से समझ सकते हैं स्पोरोजोन्स जो स्पोर का फॉर्मेशन करते हैं। दिस इंक्लूड्स डाइवर्स ऑर्गेनिज्म दैट हैव एन इन्फेक्शियस स्पोर लाइक स्टेज इन देयर लाइफ साइकिल। द मोस्ट नोटोरियस इज प्लाज्मोडियम, यू नो वेरी वेल। इट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज द मलेरियल पैरासाइट विच कॉजेज द मलेरिया डिजीज विच हैज स्टैगरिंग इफेक्ट ऑन ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशन। यानी कि ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशन को बहुत तेज़ी से अफेक्ट करती है। कौन? ये इसकी स्पीसीज जो आप देख रहे हैं मलेरियल पैरासाइट, इसकी कई स्पीसीज होती हैं। प्लाज्मोडियम वाइवेक्स, प्लाज्मोडियम फाल्सीपेरम, प्लाज्मोडियम ओवेल, ये डिफरेंट टाइप की स्पीसीज होती हैं प्लाज्मोडियम की। तो ये स्पोर का फॉर्मेशन करता है, इसीलिए इसको इस कैटेगरी में रखा गया है, स्पोरोजोन्स। और दूसरा कौन स्पोर का फॉर्मेशन करेगा प्लाज्मोडियम के अलावा? तो अगर हम लोग देखें, मोनोसिस्टिस इज द अनदर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ मोनोसिस्टिस। Monocysts is another example of sporozoans. So students, let's see the picture how they looks like. They looks like these, you know, this is the paramecium, this is the real picture of paramecium. So you are looking here, next one, this is plasmodium and this is monocystis. You are looking here, this is monocystis. So monocystis looks like this. This is plasmodium. So these two are the sporozoans, and one we have seen plasmodium, paramecium. Paramecium is ciliate. So this is it, ciliate, and this one, these two are sporozoans. So students, I think all we have discussed about the protistans. So all protista we have discussed. In earlier video we will discuss the next kingdom. This one is the fungi. So this is the ending of this video. Students, thank you for watching this video. If you are liking the video, you can comment in comment box, and please subscribe and share this channel.